It started with that voice, soft but sharp, like a blade wrapped in a church smile. Excuse me, I didn't look up at first. I was halfway through a paragraph in between the world and me, and my highlighter was out. Yellow, quiet, focused. Just like I tried to be, I said, excuse me, I looked up. A white woman, maybe mid-40s, PTA sweater, pearls too tight, smile too fake. I had never seen her before. Shouldn't you be in detention? I blinked. What? She tilted her head. You're not usually in here, are you? I set my pen down. I come here every day. Oh, she didn't believe me. Do you have a pass? My voice stayed even. Do I need one? Her lips pressed into a thin line. Most students do. I glanced toward the desk, Miss Clarkson. Was there typing? Eyes locked on the screen like it had answers she didn't want to give. You can ask Miss Clarkson. I said Karen. That's what she felt like. Even before I knew her name, looked past me, then back. She looks busy, so that was the game. I'm reading, I said. That's all. She didn't move. Some of the other students were feeling uneasy. That's when it shifted. The air, the weight in my stomach. Uneasy? Well, she lowered her voice like we were sharing some secret. You're sort of sitting in the back. Not talking, watching. I'm reading, yes, but you're just so quiet. I felt it. That tightening in my chest, like I was being squeezed into something I didn't put on. Something I didn't ask for. You think I'm watching? People? She smiled again. It's just a little odd. That's all. Odd dot, right dot, my fingers curled around my book. Is there a reason you're talking to me? Well, she laughed lightly, like I was being silly. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. It's important we all feel safe. There it was. That word, safe, code for something else entirely. I stood. Do I make you feel unsafe? She blinked. Excuse me? You said you wanted to make sure everyone feels safe. So, do I make you feel unsafe? She looked around like someone was supposed to step in. Miss Clarkson didn't move. I don't like your tone, she said. It's just a question. Karen crossed her arms. You don't need to be confrontational. I'm not. I'm just tired of being treated like I don't belong. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't curse. I didn't flinch. But somehow, her eyes narrowed like I'd just broken a window. I think, she said carefully, you should head back to class. I turned to Miss Clarkson again. You gonna say anything? Her fingers froze on the keyboard. She didn't meet my eyes. Jaden, she said. Quietly, maybe it's best if you just go. Just go. Not you're right. Not this is wrong. Just leave. So it's easier if I disappear, huh? I asked, no answer. Karen stepped back like I was some kind of storm. There's no need to be rude. I looked at her one last time. You came to me? She blinked fast. Sorry? You came to me, I repeated. I was reading. You decided that was suspicious. I think you're misunderstanding. No, I think I understand exactly. I left. No slamming, no yelling. Just my footsteps and the echo of that word she used. Uneasy. Funny how it always means black when they're too polite to say it out loud. She said I made people feel uneasy. I muttered. Liam's voice crackled through my earbuds. Wait, what? She came over like I was a threat for just sitting there. She who? Some PTA mom. Karen energy. Asked if I was even allowed to be there. Liam cursed low. Bro, you serious? Before I could answer, the library door swung open again. The same woman walked in with a tight smile and louder shoes. Like nothing had happened, I turned, slow, my voice steady. Why do you think I don't belong here? She froze, halfway. To the desk. Excuse me? You asked if I had a pass. You said students were uncomfortable. Why? Her eyes darted toward the table where a few juniors sat. They were whispering now. I just found it odd, she said, smiling through it. You were sitting in the back, not doing much. I was reading. You seemed, she lowered her voice like it made her sound reasonable. Tense. A few more heads turned. I stepped forward. Not close, just enough to be heard. Tense? Well, she laughed nervously. Threatening, maybe. That word hit harder than it should have. Like it had weight behind it. Like it had been waiting for the right moment to be used against me. Threatening? I repeated. I didn't touch anyone. Didn't raise my voice. I didn't even stand up until you made me. You're raising it now? I heard the rustle of chairs behind me. People listening, leaning. Why are you doing this? I asked. She took a step back like she wanted people to think I was dangerous. I don't feel safe with this tone. Safe. Again, always that word. I turned toward Miss Clarkson. She still hadn't said a thing, not a single word. Just typing. Like that noise could drown this out, Miss Clarkson? She looked up, startled like I'd pulled her out of a dream. Did I do something wrong? She hesitated. Maybe you should just go, Jaden. Her voice didn't sound like hers. It sounded borrowed. Like someone else had told her what to say. I laughed. It cracked halfway out of my throat. So it's easier for you if I leave quietly, right? Nobody said anything. Karen folded her arms. Her lips curled like she'd just won something. A junior near the shelf whispered, "What's happening?" I turned to him. She called me threatening. His friend frowned. You were reading. Karen stepped in again. That's not what... I said, you said it. I cut in. We all heard you. I said I felt uncomfortable. That's the same thing when you say it about me. Another student, white, track jacket, always in the back of homeroom, spoke up. Why's he gotta leave though? He didn't do anything. Karen's smile cracked. This is getting out of hand. I stared at Miss Clarkson. Say something. She looked at Karen, then me. Then down. I think it's best if you leave, Jaden. There it was, the betrayal. Not loud, not cruel. Just cowardly, right? I whispered. Of course it is. I picked up my book, but my hands shook. I hated that part, that I couldn't even leave with steady fingers. As I walked past Karen, she whispered, I hope you learn something from this. I stopped. You don't get to say that. She blinked. You don't get to silence me. And play the victim. More whispers now, some gasps. A phone recording maybe, but no one moved. I walked out of the library. And the door didn't slam. But somehow, it still echoed behind me. Double quotes, bro, it's all over Snap, like everyone saw it. Liam dropped into the seat next to me like the desk might crack under how fast he moved. I blinked. What? He shoved his phone toward me. It's the library thing. Someone filmed it. You, Karen, Miss Clarkson. All of it. I stared at the screen, my voice, her words, that word, threatening. There it was, just like I remembered. Did she really say that? A kid behind me asked, Yeah, man. Someone else cut in. That was messed up. I slid the phone back. My stomach felt like it had teeth. She looked so fake nice while she said it. A girl muttered across the aisle. Like she practiced. That scared mom tone in a mirror. Liam whispered, It's blowing up. Twitter reposted it. TikTok's already remixing it with subtitles and trap beats. Great, I said, my throat dry. So now I'm a meme. He leaned in. Jay, this is your chance. Go to admin. File something. Report her. I looked at him. And say what? That I got called scary for existing? He blinked. Yes? They'll flip it. They'll say I provoked her. You didn't. The whole video shows that. Doesn't matter. The bell hadn't even rung yet, but the room was already buzzing. People whispering my name like I couldn't hear it. Like I wasn't. Right here. Mr. Ray walked in. His face said he'd seen it too. All right, he said, dropping his laptop bag on the desk. Let's keep today focused, folks. Mr. Ray, someone called out. You saw that video, right? He adjusted his tie like it was choking him. I don't think this is the time or place. Why not? A voice from the back row. We talk about justice in To Kill a Mockingbird. This is literally it. Ray let out a sigh. Let the school handle it. That hit me sideways. I turned in my seat. Like they did last time? His eyes flicked to me. Jaden. No. Really? Remember the last time someone called me a problem during gym? And I ended up writing an apology letter for being tackled? He didn't answer. Just stared at the projector like it could rescue him. Liam whispered, You're not wrong. My voice shook, but I kept it low. I'm tired of being polite. When I'm the one bleeding, you gotta do something about it? I paused, swallowed hard. I don't know yet. I sat outside the principal's office, knees bouncing like they had their own heartbeat. Liam leaned against the wall beside me. You good? No, I said, but I'm used to it. He didn't respond, just nodded. That kind of silence. That says I hear you even if it can't fix anything. The door opened. Jaden? The secretary said, soft like she didn't want to be part of this either. I stood up. My legs felt too light, like they might float or fold. Ms. Dean sat behind her desk, hands folded like she was praying I'd be easy today. Come in. Have a seat. I didn't. She sighed. Look, I want to talk to you about the video. Which one? I asked. The one where I breathe wrong or the one where she calls me a threat? She closed her eyes like she was tired of me already. Jaden, I stayed standing. She gestured to the chair again. Please, I sat, not for her comfort. Just so my legs wouldn't give out. I understand this is upsetting. Do you? She nodded like it was scripted. Yes, and we're reviewing the situation carefully. I stared at her. That video's got over 200,000 views. People from other states are commenting. What's left to review? She shifted. We want to make sure we handle this appropriately. You mean quietly? Professionally? Same thing. She folded her hands tighter. Let's not make this bigger than it is. That's when it snapped. She called me a threat in a library while I was reading. And your staff told me to leave? That's not big enough? She flinched at my tone, but I didn't care anymore. The door opened. Karen stepped in. Of course, I came as soon as I could, she said, all faux concern and pastel lies. I wanted to clear this up in person. Ms. Deans looked relieved. Thank you. Karen looked at me, then quickly looked away. I think there's been a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I said, you said I was threatening. I said I felt uncomfortable. I leaned forward. Say it again, out loud. Two. My face, she hesitated. I didn't blink. I felt unsafe. There it is, I whispered. Not because of what I did, because of what I look like. That's not fair. No, what's not fair is being policed for existing. She folded her arms. I was thinking of the other students. Were they scared, or were you? I was concerned. 4. Your comfort. She didn't respond. I turned to Ms. Deans. So? Am I getting suspended for making someone feel something? Jaden, that's not... No, I snapped. Then what is it? Because she's not getting consequences. And you're sitting here asking me to shrink. Karen finally spoke again. I didn't mean to cause this. I was trying to look out for the school. I stared at her. You were trying to look out for your own reflection. She blinked fast. Her face flushed. Miss Deans picked up a folder. Didn't open it. Just held it like it made her decision look official. This is a delicate situation. We're still gathering details. I stood. You already have all the details you need. It's just that none of them match the story you want. Neither of them stopped me as I walked out. Liam was still outside. He looked up. You good? No, I said. But I'm not staying quiet anymore. Let's just take a breath, Jaden. Ms. Dean said it like I hadn't been holding mine for days. I kept my voice low. I'm done breathing around this. Karen gave me that tight smile again. This is getting very dramatic. Fine, I said. I'll call my dad. She rolled her eyes. Oh, what is he? A lawyer? I looked her dead in the eye. Worse. Ms. Dean sat straighter. Let's not escalate this. I already had my phone out. My hands didn't shake this time. Hey, Dad, I said into the phone. They need you to come down here. Say. Les, he answered when I hung up. The silence felt thick. Uncomfortable for them. Not for me. Karen leaned toward Ms. Deans. Is this necessary? Deans whispered something I couldn't catch. 5 minutes later, the front desk buzzed. He's here. The secretary's voice said. I looked toward the door. He stepped in. My dad, Colonel Michael Grant, full army dress blues. Medals that caught the light. Karen blinked fast. Miss Dean stood. Colonel. He didn't let her finish. I'm here because my son was treated like a criminal. For reading, Karen stammered. I didn't know. He turned his eyes on her, calm, focused, heavy. You didn't care. She swallowed. I was just concerned. For your comfort, I cut in. My dad looked at me, then nodded once. Miss Deans tried to regain control. Colonel Grant, we've been reviewing the video. I've seen the video, she faltered. We were going to reach out. You didn't, he said. He did, because he knew you wouldn't. Karen looked like she wanted to melt into the floor. I was thinking of safety, she said weakly. My son's safety? My dad asked. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. He stepped closer to the desk. You saw a black boy reading, you assumed danger? That's not safety, that's bias, she whispered. It wasn't personal. No, I said, it never is to you, but I carry it every day. Miss Deans looked desperate now. This is a learning opportunity for who? I asked, because I already learned. You taught me real early what silence means. My dad nodded slowly. You told my son to leave. But she stayed. You protected her feelings, not his dignity. Karen finally snapped. I didn't ask him to make this viral. He tilted his head. So if no one had filmed it, he should have just swallowed it? She flinched. I served this country for 23 years, he said. But the moment my son walks into a library, he's a threat. Miss Dean sat down. We hear you. He didn't smile. No, you don't, but now you have to listen. They made me sit in the front row, dead center, like I asked for this, like I wanted to be the face of every unspoken moment this school has buried. Dad stood on stage with a mic in one hand. Steady as always, he didn't smile. Didn't scowl either. Just held the room in a silence thicker than the air itself. I'm not here to lecture you, he began, scanning the crowd. I'm here to ask questions. No one moved. No one even coughed. How many of you have ever been followed in a store for browsing? A few hands rose, hesitant, then more. He nodded. How many of you have been told to calm down when you were just speaking? Hands again. Even some white kids raised theirs. That time. My heart thudded louder than the mic. How many of you have been called aggressive, loud, or dangerous just for existing in the wrong place? Silence. Then a hand went up, then another. And another. He let that sit. This isn't about politics, he said. It's about patterns, a kid near the back muttered. Damn. Every story has two parts, Dad said. The one that's told, and the one that's lived. Karen shifted in her seat across the aisle. I saw her arms cross. Her leg bounced. He kept going. My son walked into a library and got profiled. You all saw the video. But ask yourself, how many times has something like that not been filmed? More. Murmurs, a buzz starting to build. A girl raised her hand. A quiet voice, shaky. They always tell me I look mad. I'm not mad. I just don't smile all the time. Someone behind her whispered, same. Another voice. I got pulled from class once for being disruptive. I was just laughing with my friends. And then a boy stood up. I got called articulate. Like it was a surprise. That cracked something. The room wasn't quiet anymore. It was real now. Raw. Karen stood. Excuse me, this feels like an attack. My dad didn't flinch. Does it? This isn't fair to people like me, she said. I was trying to help. I almost stood too, but I didn't have to. A black girl across the gym raised her voice. No, this is what it feels like to finally speak. Karen's mouth fell open. Another student said, you feel attacked. We feel erased. My chest felt tight, not with fear, with something closer to relief. Or rage finally being recognized. I didn't know, Karen said. No, Dad replied calmly. You never asked. Miss Dean stepped forward like she wanted to steer the room back. Let's be respectful, but the crowd was already ahead of her. A teacher said, maybe it's time we listen. Dad looked at me. He didn't say a word. He didn't need to, because for once, the truth wasn't mine alone to carry. It was ours, and we were finally allowed to say it out loud. I didn't want to be here again. Same seats, same faces. Different room, this time the PTA lounge. They called it a parent-led debrief. Karen walked in like she owned the walls. Pressed blouse, that same mask of concern like she was the one who'd been violated. I just want to speak openly, she started. This has gotten out of hand. Gotten? Miss Dean sat stiff beside her like she knew where this was going but didn't have the brakes to stop it. I've served this school for years, Karen said, voice trembling just enough to look controlled. Volunteered hundreds of hours. This doesn't reflect who I am. A board member cleared her throat. It's literally recorded. Karen's smile faltered. Another parent spoke up, calm, firm. We all saw how you treated that boy. She jumped in, louder now. That boy Jaden misunderstood me. I was asking a question. You asked if he was allowed to be there, someone said. That's not curiosity, that's gatekeeping. Karen blinked fast, like maybe she could cry her way out of accountability. You're making this political? She snapped. No, said a woman near the window. You made it personal. Karen's voice cracked. I was scared. Silence hit the room like glass shattering. Scared? My fist tightened under the table. Then a teacher, Mr. Lee, spoke without looking up from his notes. Scared of what? He asked. A boy with a book? Karen turned to Ms. Deans. Aren't you going to say something? Ms. Deans looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. There's nothing I can say that excuses it. Karen laughed once, bitter. So I'm the villain now? A dad in a blazer leaned forward. You chose to feel threatened. He didn't choose to be threatening. Her voice broke. I didn't mean for it to go this far. But you meant every word you said in that video, I said, louder than I planned. All eyes turned to me. Karen stared. You weren't even supposed to be here. I've heard that before, I said. Library, hallway, everywhere? No one interrupted me. You don't get to decide the size of the fire when you're the one holding the match. Karen stood. She looked at everyone, then at me. Then down, and for once she didn't say anything. That silence? That was the loudest collapse I'd ever witnessed. I sat at the same table. Same chair, same corner. Same book, dog-eared, spine cracked. Mine. They'd put up a new poster near the checkout desk. All students welcome. All stories matter. Nice words, loud words. But words need legs. Miss Clarkson walked over, clutching a laminated copy of the updated library policy. She cleared her throat. We added it yesterday. I didn't look up right away. She placed it gently on the table. No one should ever feel watched here, especially not while reading. I closed the book. She sat beside me. I failed you that day. You watched it happen. Her face crumpled, but she didn't look away. I know, she said. I was scared of saying the wrong thing, so I said nothing. That was the wrongest thing I could have done. I exhaled. Took a lot of noise just to be seen. I see you now, she said softly. I won't unsee you again. Footsteps thudded behind her. Liam plopped down on the other side of me, sliding a comic across the table. New shelf, he grinned. They added a graphic novel section. I raised an eyebrow. Did they finally take that quiet zone sign down? Replaced it with respect zone, whatever that means. Miss Clarkson smiled faintly. Means conversations allowed as long as it builds something. I leaned back. I used to come here to disappear. Liam nudged my elbow. Now they're rearranging the furniture because of you. Miss Clarkson stood. No, because of all of you who kept showing up. Even when the space said you didn't belong. She paused before leaving. Same shelves. But the rules changed. Liam waited until she walked away. So, what now? I picked the book back up, turned a page slowly, felt the weight of the words in my hands. Now? I said, same shelf. He looked confused. New story, I added. He grinned. Better ending? I looked around, students walking in without whispers, librarians smiling without fear. No, Karen, still writing it, I said, and for the first time I didn't feel like I had to shrink to stay safe. I didn't need the library to swallow me. I wanted it to remember me. I'm still here, and they finally saw me.